Maybe my words from the last episode are still on your mind. Grammar should only be studied when you need it. Now that we've made this clear, let's look at the best way to study grammar when this need does come up. I suggest a simple but effective method, great for self-learners and easy to use. It's called pattern recognition. Let me show you how it works. The pattern recognition method is what you used as a child to learn grammar in your first language, even if you didn't realize you were doing it. It's a simple method to help you understand basic grammar rules. By noticing repeated patterns, you can easily understand English grammar rules and learn English grammar naturally. Maybe you've already tried learning English grammar with boring exercises and textbooks. You're not alone if you find these methods difficult and confusing. So let's try a more natural process instead. When we were children, we learned our own language's grammar through real-life situations, and our parents or adults around us corrected us when we needed them to. Formal learning happened much later in school, but we could already speak correctly. You can use the same method to learn English or any other language. You just need to learn grammar in context, like a child does when they're first learning to speak. First, immerse yourself in the English language to recreate the right context. Being in this language bubble helps you absorb grammar. When you learn English through immersion, you start noticing frequent grammar patterns. It's best to start with the most common patterns, the ones you see the most often. Of course, there is a grammar rule behind these patterns, but the goal of this method is to try and figure out the rule on your own by seeing sentences in their natural context. Let's look at two sentences: the big black wolf and the black big wolf. The word order is different, but which one is correct? The first one. There is a grammar rule that explains this, but it's hard to remember. Instead, imagine you're reading an English book and you find these three sentences: the small white house, the short green dress, and the large grey rock. Since these sentences are in an English book, you know they're correct. Now, ask yourself, do you say the tall white man or the white tall man? Of course, it's the first one. And you know this because of the sentences you read earlier. From these sentences, you can guess the order of the adjectives. Size comes before color. Now let's talk about expressing quantity. First, listen to these sentences. Many apples, much luck. Many cars, much water. Many birds, much love. After listening to me reading them, can you guess whether we use the word much or many with the word milk? If you said much, you got it right without even knowing the rule. Generally, we use much for things we can't count and many for things that we can count. You can use your intuition to understand the rule without a textbook. When you start learning English, instead of spending hours and hours on grammar textbooks, try to read and listen to as much English as possible in natural contexts. Over time, you'll start picking up the rules intuitively, like kids do. Of course, you can look up grammar rules when you're stuck, but if you truly use this English method to learn grammar, you won't need textbooks very often. There are free, easy-to-use tools that can help you learn English grammar quickly. These include grammar checkers and language correction tools. Google can help with grammar questions. Here's how to use it smartly. To check if your grammar is correct, type part of the sentence into the search field. Then, use the following tips to decide if the sentence is correct. If you're unsure between two different options, use the words or and versus. This will bring up the most relevant pages for answers. For example, if I'm not sure whether to say I put the plate in or into the cupboard, I can search put in versus put into. The answer might explain that in emphasizes the goal, whereas into emphasizes the movement. Another good tip is to put sentences into quotation marks and check the number of results. If the number is very low, under 1,000, your sentence might be wrong. For example, the sentence I should go now gives us around 370,000 results, whereas I should to go now only gives us 10. So the first sentence is likely correct. This trick works well for simple questions. For more complex ones, here are some useful tools. Grammarly is a browser plugin for Chrome that helps you correct grammar mistakes. It's very effective, and the free version checks spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Just download and install the plugin, and it will highlight any errors you make. These tips show you how technology can help in most situations, even with grammar. And if some questions remain unanswered, don't worry. Keep practicing, and you'll learn the correct forms over time. Thank you for listening. To find out the next steps in our step-by-step English series, follow our channel. I also recommend trying Mosalingua, a fast, efficient way to learn English. The link to try it is in the show description.